Hi, welcome to our TV. So today's episode, I'm going to talk about this topic, redefining family. So while we are ascending, the definition of the family will be changing from blood-related family to soul-related family. So many of us will be experiencing that while we are, or we will be, or uniting with our soul family and everything. So we think it's a good idea to talk about this.
Mhm.
So before we start, I'm gonna give you a little definition of what soul family is. Soul family is a family we share the soul origin, could be from galactic or whatever, but we are in the soul, belong to big chunks of group. That group could be big, right? So it depends on which group we are from, the affinity to ascended masters or spiritual being will be different too. Like, in my case, I'm so having huge affinity with Jesus, Christianity, angel group. I don't have any effort to connect with them because they're my soul family versus Buddha or Buddhism or that kind of sector with deities and stuff like that. But the person or other beings or human beings, you have soul family while we are ascending or when we are ascending, we will have immediate connection with each other. And we can understand each other, we can be authentic to each other. And it doesn't take a huge amount of time, like years, to be like that. So, what do you thought about that, Sue?
Yep, I agree, and I see it as sort of our soul family is the group energy that's separated from source, and it's been called a monad.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the closest to source you can get without actually merging back into source. And as you said, that's a it's a huge group of energies that we would consider individual souls, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, it's multidimensional connection. It's in other universes, not just the universe that we're experiencing here in Earth. And I also agree with what you said about immediate recognition of each other. And I think most people can relate where you meet somebody and you know them. You don't even have to have a conversation. There's that recognition, your eyes meet, you see the soul, you know the soul. And for most people, they don't understand that. We're waking up to it though, and we're remembering, and that's part of ascension. And so I think, I want to kind of go at this topic from a historical viewpoint. How we consider, how we define family in a historical sense. And as you said, it tends to be, based on genetics and blood relations and that sort of thing. Um, and that's fine. I don't think we have to, totally dissolve the definition of family because that is one definition. However, our expansive consciousness is picking up on the fact that that is not the only definition of family. And you hear people saying often, well, this person, we're not blood related, or, my brother from another mother, my sister, those kind of sayings. And I think what people are really saying is we are having that soul connection and we're recognizing it and we're believing in it, and we're also starting to remember that just because you are born into a family. Sorry, my dog is here. Hi, Shotzi. And she's wanting to leave the room, and I don't want to get up right now and let her out, so she's groaning. Sorry about that. um we're not wanting to release certain members of our blood family because we've been told and socially conditioned that it's not okay to do that. And I'm going to talk about why it is okay to do that. And as a matter of fact, that's the more loving thing to do. when you found that being with a member of your primary, blood family is just constantly bringing stress to both parties. Okay. It is the loving thing to do to go ahead and experience a separation from that person. It could be long term, it could be short term, it could be the rest of your life. It's honoring yourself, your soul journey, as well as that person's self and soul journey. Because whenever we continually put ourselves in environments that are stressful, it perpetuates the emotions of fear, anger, resentment, all those lower energies that we're not resonating with anymore. Our bodies don't do well when we're in that kind of environment on a regular.
Mhm.
Um, so, we can talk about soul recognition in people that are, quote, strangers to us, but also understand that the people that are in our blood family are not necessarily in our soul family.
Mhm.
Um, Sometimes, or if they are, they may also be at a different point in their journey of ascension and remembering that we're source than we are. So without any judgment of that, oh, well, I'm more awake than you, or when are you going to catch up? None of that stuff. We're not ascribing any of that. But what it is simple respect, which says, I respect myself enough to go ahead and create a separation of our energies, our interactions, because I care about myself enough to want to feel good and create my life the way I want to see it play out. And I'm doing you a favor because I'm respecting your soul path and whatever growth that you need to experience or go through. And you don't need my energy, which is butting heads with your energy in your fields while you're trying to do that. So not only am I doing myself a favor, I'm doing yourself a favor by saying, we tried, we really did, but this just isn't working right now. Let's take a break. And, hopefully, Erica, you will go ahead and talk more about, establishing relationships uh, with strangers that are our soul family and how they can become family.
Yeah,
The
it's
new
like
definition.
it's really important because right now I'm personally stripping myself off to be more authentic of who I am, even though I'm mostly authentic all the time. On the way of ascension process, you really strip everything, anything which is not who you are. It's including grief and including having a deep awareness because you understand who you are. When you understand who you understand who your people are. So when you're becoming more authentic to yourself, you can recognize immediately your soul family, your people. And then especially starseed or light workers, we don't born into the soul family. Maybe new generation they will be, but in general, starseed or light worker born into darkest part of the society, darkest part of the country, darkest part of the family, or whatever. And then we we have this duty to clear the bloodline because we borrowed their body to have a physicality. So in exchange, because everything is exchange of the energy, to say thank you, we say, oh, we're gonna clear this bloodline thing. I don't want to say bloodline karma or curse because it's not. You agree to clear this bloodline in exchange of having this body. And then because in your soul contract, it is important for you to accomplish whatever you are to decide to serve. This body and born into this family was beneficial. Like in my personal case, I do have my soul family, which is my dad who's deceased, my grandmother who is deceased, And my aunt, who is still out there, they're super loving people, like happy-go-lucky, super positive, loving, like very magnetic, but really, really loving, right? And then I know they're my soul family. But there are other people, out there, which I personally made my soul contact with, either maybe resolving the karmic issues in other galactic lives or whatever that is. So
Or
we
maybe
will,
you just agreed to come in with them to help them with something because they
yeah,
asked you
yeah,
to. And
yeah,
as you said, you were kind of, your energy exchange in return is to help clear the bloodline of certain behaviors and beliefs and karma.
yeah. So people do that, especially light worker do that. So first thing I want you guys to understand is don't feel bad about yourself that you have all this huge thing in your family and then stuff is running within the family patterns or whatever. That is not you. You just decided to help them to clear this thing because you do have this body. It got nothing to do with you, probably, because you're light worker, you're star seed, so you don't have that heavy thing. It's not your karma, okay? But you decided to clear because you have this body. And then when you have this body, you do inherit emotional soul, emotional memories and the inheritance from your ancestors and stuff like that. And then you will clear those. So the blood family is the contractual relationship. You make a contract to born into particular family, particular parents for your purpose. So in my case, I was born into my family, so I become completely independent and completely stubborn. So I be completely strong enough to be a leader, right? And then I was thinking about if I were born into super loving, super supportive, amazing environment, I wouldn't I wouldn't be as strong as I am, right? So that was necessary. So
Mhm.
a lot of times you may think like, oh my God, you may think like, oh, I'm black sheep of my family and nobody likes me, yada, yada, yada. Whatever the emotion you are having, understand that your soul decided to born into this family. And after you're clearing all this ancestral thing or family relationship, you have exact understanding why you particularly chose this family. And that is a gift.
Mhm.
Even though it's a hardship and then maybe challenge, that is a gift because you automatically chose. Because let's say in my case, if I had the super loving, caring environment, my father was still alive and everything, would I choose the same journey? Probably not.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
It would be so much easier to be a daddy's little girl. And then he never gonna let me go out of his sight. So I
But
be
then you
so,
weren't going to find your personal power doing that.
no, I don't. And then
And
I
that's why
told
he
him,
left at the time that he did.
yeah, so he did. So it's just perfectly, stuff happens perfectly, even though it seemed like a tragedy at that time. I'm just using as my example so you guys can relate. So whoever you have relationship with a blood family and you don't really jive with because they are not really your soul family, but you still do have a soul contract. So that is a blessing. But how do you proceed your soul contract, or what kind of proximity, I can't say the word, what kind of distance you will choose to hang with this person is completely up to you.
Mhm.
Because like Sue says, sometimes or a lot of times the family member you have chosen might be completely different from you as a soul, or completely coming from a different kind of growth or background,
Vibrationally.
or your soul experience or soul age or whatever they are, right? So you chose the relationship, you're thankful, but you are not chained into the relationship. You're not chained into the relationship, because when we are sending, well, we'll start meeting your real family. Means it might not be nothing to do with your race, nothing to do with your culture, nothing to do with your religion or bloodline, right? Sue and I are family, soul family, Me and my soul sister Tanya, we are family. We've been together like who knows how long. But we have this recognition as a soul, and then we are as close as family. Like we share everything. We are very related with everything because we do share similar lives, similar path journey. So we're gonna be there for each other, that kind of thing. So when you guys are meeting your soul family, first of all, I want you guys to get rid of your preconceived notion that your soul family has to come from same culture or whatever, or same race or religion. Forget all of that, because now we are sending, we are realizing you are the member of planet Earth. You are same member, whoever you are. So that's commonality. And then when you are so recognized with each other, all these preconceived notion some people do have, because both of you are American, so you can relate with each other. A lot of people say stuff like that, but I don't really think that got nothing to do with coming from same culture, unless one person is incredibly, not flexible. If both people are reasonably, good at the social skills and they're flexible enough, people usually do get along. But when it comes to soul family, all outside the stuff goes away. You are relating with each other as a soul. And you have a complete understanding of each other, just like family you always wanted to have.
Yeah. One of the things that was popping into my mind when kind of back a ways when we were talking about when we agree to incarnate into a blood family with someone that's not in our soul group. And this isn't hierarchical, so I don't want to give people the impression that one's better than the other, but I think we can go between soul groups too. Like we make contracts between soul groups for the purpose of enriching our experience.
Yeah.
So in other words, one soul group might be really great with personal relationships and creating community, and because they've had all these lives practicing this. And then another soul group might be super expert at creating in the material world and engineering and technology and things like that, and scientific, where they're not so great at the emotions, but they're really great at the material world. And so what benefits us by making a soul contract with people outside of our, or souls outside of our soul group, is that there's these merging of these energies. We're learning from each other, so it's not one's better than the other. It just, we're sharing. And I'm sure there's even larger reasons why people from different soul groups decide to incarnate as blood family that are past my human understanding. but what I've garnered thus far is that whenever there's an energy exchange, there's always a good reason for it. We put things into our soul, into our soul contracts for very good reasons, and it's agreed upon by both parties, right? So is there anything wrong? And, I know a lot of people struggle with this, so I want to go back to, our family of origin, our blood families. Is there anything wrong with saying, even if you don't say it out loud, but you say it to yourself, we tried, we really tried. We just did everything with our unique talents as individuals to make this work, and somehow we just couldn't, our energies don't go together,
Mhm.
or uh conversely, we've had this exchange for long enough to where I've recognized my personal power, and I don't need to keep having this exchange anymore because now I know who I am, and so I've grown out of the relationship. um I don't think that's rejection in any way. I think when we do um, separate and go our own way with our our blood family members, it can be very respectful. It can be very spiritual. It can be very. It doesn't have to result in a smackdown. Just like getting divorced doesn't mean you have to be fighting and throwing mud at each other. Especially when there's children involved, you can find ways to separate peacefully and have um, you know, decent lives afterwards. It's the same thing with our blood relatives. We can part ways in a very healthy manner. Now, when we do that, we have to realize, okay, now my focus is on my life and what I'm doing. It's not, oh, I'm going to go back and hear stories from my other family members about what that person's doing. Because that's not truly separating. That's staying connected, and that's staying connected to their energy. What that means is, okay, now that I've found my gratitude and I found my way to separate from this person peacefully, I'm going to go mind my own business and create the life that I wish to have. Okay. So understand that what I'm talking about is, if you make that decision, make it all the way, let go with love, but then you mind your own damn business and go your road, go your path. Don't keep looking back or reconnecting through other family members or trying to get information about what they're doing. No, that split is for a reason. Your soul wants to go this way.
Yeah. And I feel like that is self-love because, when you expect some family member to fulfill certain role, and then the person is not capable of fulfilling that role. And how do you deal with that? So that requires spiritual maturity, that you will stop looking at the person as the role they're supposed to fill, but look at them as a soul and then recognize that's where they are at. And that's as much as they can do at where they are. So when you start seeing that, then you are no longer blaming the other party, or you're not doing this and that, or what is wrong with my family, blah blah blah. Instead, okay, I'm a soul, the other person is a soul, we're not really jiving, but you can find, either if you have some way to relate with this person, you can set your comfort level, how much you relate this person, how often you meet, or how close you live, or whatever that is, right? So just because, some people, they say, oh, mother always loves her children.
We know that's not true.
No. some people
Unfortunately.
some people, maybe the person who makes that statement come from like a very healthy environment, but it's not always like that, right? If the person is not capable of loving in a healthy manner, and then how do you relate, right? It's not just mother, father, could be kids or whatever. So you look at them as a soul, and then you decide your comfort level. How much can you hang with this person without sacrificing yourself, your emotion, your energy, whatever that is? Because
Yeah.
just because they're family member, they are not entitled your time, entitled your love. We're not here as a being a Jesus, right? So when person is there, when they want your love, well, they're not giving anything. That's very toxic. And then just because they happen to be the blood family member, do you owe this person to give so much love? I don't think so. When you come to realizing you are important as well, then you figure it out. No one has like a math, but you can figure it out what is comfortable for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you decide your own comfort level of how much you relate by one method or whatever. If you are only comfortable meeting with your blood family once a year during Thanksgiving or Christmas, that is okay. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's very important for you to one not to compare yourself with other family, right? You don't even know what's going on with other family. They may be pretending like they're happy. They may be really happy. They may be
Exactly.
pretending like they're happy. You don't know that. So
And I think what we're really talking about is redefining what family means. And so that is, that means we're letting go of historical definitions. And, as you said, I mean, some people don't have a mother and a father. Some people have two dads. Some people have two moms. Some people have no parents.
yeah,
And they live in foster care. So, you know, I think it's okay if we have an attachment to the historical definition of family to mourn um, a loss of a member, whether it's by our own choosing to lose them or they died or whatever, we could mourn what we thought they should have been to us and just start being that for ourselves. In other words, say, for example, I had, a parent, a mother, for example, that didn't fit into that typical mother role. Like you said earlier, that, oh, you think it should be, a mother should be this, but really my mother was that. You can allow yourself to sort of mourn the role that you think they should have played, and at the same time then you have to take personal power back and be that for yourself. You have to mother yourself. If you didn't have a mother, or your mother didn't live up to what you thought a mother should be, then you have to take that on for you. And or a lot of people find a motherly figure that is very important in life. And those people tend to be like part of your soul family too. You're super connected to them, or you feel their energy and you're drawn to it because guess what? They came into this life to go ahead and fulfill that role for you, at least for a little while, to show you what it looks like. And I have tremendous gratitude for people in that role. I really do. Because they are not part of our blood family usually, but yet they come in, or they might be an aunt or a distant relative that came in to play the role of mother for you, and that's pretty special.
yeah. And then, the level of authenticity we have, we become 100% raw and authentic among family member. But you might not, be able to be authentic within your blood family because they are very different. But you can be authentic toward your soul family because
Hmm.
they are your part of your group.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that's what we're talking about when we say redefine what we're calling family, because we family, I think the definition should be the people that we can be our authentic selves with, and that love us in all of that, the good, the bad, the ugly.
Yeah, no censoring because we all have our social skills. So even though someone who are authentic like Sue and I, we are not going to be like how we are relate with each other in front of other people, you know.
Well, not
So
everybody, that's for sure. You
they
know,
are,
that's reserved for special
yeah,
relationships.
yeah, that's reserved for the family. So you only deal with, not deal with, show your true authentic self, you know, without censoring the way you say things. But we all have a social skills and then, you know, stuff like that. So we do know how to act and present ourselves in different social settings. But we do that because we do meet with totally different kind of people who are not our soul group, right? And then when they are not our soul group or soul family, you do have so many different way of doing things or way of thinking or whatever. You are different. So it does require you to have skills, the social skills to change like a chameleon to meet people at their level or socially or emotionally or spiritually. And that's a master of being human, human
Mhm.
relation, right?
Mhm. I think eventually we're going to move, you know, the closer we get to 5D and embodying it on a daily is we're going to find that we will refuse to hang in groups that are not soul family. And what I mean by that is not being, you know, snobby or anything like that, but I just think as a natural progression into 5D, we're going to find that we don't have a desire to try and go fit into some place or some society that doesn't fit our authentic selves. Um, and it doesn't mean that, you know, like a business trip or something like that, or you're on vacation and you encountered other groups of people, that you're gonna like stay away from them completely and not have any, like you said, polite social exchanges where you meet people on their level. But what I mean is predominantly, I think we're going to be finding ourselves immersed in our soul family groups rather than our core blood family groups. We're going to choose that more often. And I would contend that that is really going to benefit everybody.
Yeah,
Uh, when we spend the bulk of our time with people that we can be our authentic self with, then I think our joy is just going to grow, and you know, we can be more loving. Um, when we're trying to, you know, fit into somebody else's definition of what polite society is, and you know, that kind of thing. It's fine for, you know, small periods of time, you know, if it's for a particular event or for a particular reason and that sort of thing. But I don't think we're going to be wanting to flock to those scenarios on, you know, as our daily, regular habitual places where we want to be. We want to be with other souls that allow us to be who we are.
yeah, because authentic family relationship from soul level, we accept each other exactly as who we are. You know, we're not perfect, but we don't bring the other person down. We're gonna be always there for each other, and that's what family is. Always
Hmm.
there for each other.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean,
Good or
that's my
bad.
definition, you know, that's my definition. And by being there for each other, that doesn't mean bleeding while you're doing it. That doesn't mean sacrificing yourself,
Yeah,
and
believing
what
in the
your
other
needs
person can do
are
it.
for the other person. It means you're sharing that exchange, and it's equal, and it's kind. It's not,
Yeah,
you know,
encouraging the other person can do it. Wow, you may share your information, but you know, you're not like walking the walking down with the cross together.
yeah, don't do that. That's been
Yeah,
done. That's been so done. Let's shift that and do a whole new way of defining family. I think
and
it's
then
needed. It's coming.
when you're so with soul family, the other person can open up the other way of looking at things because we, even though we are soul family, we do have a different perspective, right?
Mhm.
So we can grow more and expand more while being in the loving, safe environment.
Absolutely. And I think, I mean, if there are any main ideas of this earth life, that's one of them.
Yeah.
Growth, you know, they keep
Uh-huh.
expanding. And we only do that by having experiences that are not the same as what we're used to, what our history tells us they should be. We have experience because we're called to it, and we experience other people and other consciousness because we're attracted to them
So
rather
anyway,
than
you
being
guys,
told.
sorry.
No.
Anyway, you guys feel lonely because you're black sheep of the family, or you haven't found your friends in your community or something. You do find your people, okay? You do. And then it doesn't matter if that is through online, you'll eventually meet physically with each other. That's how the society we're heading toward. And then just embrace and be joyful and grateful about the relationship. And then you do have your soul family. No of us are alone. We are all with our soul family.
Mm-hmm.
Just be open to it, but you don't have to be 100% open with every human being, because while you are ascending, you do have a discernment, you do have a sense who is your family, who is not. So you do act accordingly.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah. And your highest good, if we each reach for our highest good and our biggest joy, then guess what? The energy that we're putting out to the rest of the collective is only going to be our best.
Yeah.
It's going to be love. And I think that's ultimately the point of ascending to 5D.
It's going to be a lot easier walk and a peaceful walk toward the 5D instead of fighting against differences, right?
Mm-hmm.
Once you accept the differences, you no longer have to fight, because then all you need is your soul family. That's your choice.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And when we are separating from those that we no longer resonate with, when they're, especially when they're our blood family, you know, my suggestion would be try to do it with love, do it with kindness, do it with gratitude for the relationship in the first place. Because as Erica said way in the beginning, we wouldn't find our strength if we didn't have these relationships, if we didn't have these experiences with these people to show us what we are and how to love ourselves. So I say release and let go with gratitude and love. And then that is, I think, the best way to when we're separating from our family, our blood family.
Yeah, and then that's a way to complete your soul contract as well as a soul. So next week, Sue and I are going to bring more interesting topic. Thank you so much for watching. Please share, like, subscribe, and we see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.